one of them said specifically, they said, in the church I grew up in, they made me feel like if my faith wasn't perfect, then I was inadequate to serve.
Yeah.
And I mean, that broke my heart because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And I think if we would learn to show them that, let our faith be real. It's never going to be perfect, but let our faith be real and show them that. And I think that might be a helpless way.
Hey, Castleview, good to have you back again at the Castleview Baptist Church Podcast. And I'm traveling, and this week I am with two really dear friends. I've been coming out, yes, it's been 5 years. I've been coming out here now. We're at Colonial Heights, Virginia, Calvary Baptist Church, and they've had a youth conference here since, I guess, Jeremy, we're talking right before COVID, year before COVID started?
Yes, sir. 2019.
Okay.
Yes.
2019. Okay. And so this, I think, is about my 5th year. I think you guys missed a year. I missed the first year. Nobody invited me for the first year. Nobody invited me.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Ever since I've been, anyway, it's been fantastic. I love it.
Yes,
There is one thing that I have really enjoyed with it. We've got a tradition every single year that we do, that the kids are clamoring for already, that we've not done yet, and that's the Game of Cups.
Yes, sir.
Where'd that start?
I saw it at another youth rally, I believe it was, and I was like, this is a great game.
Yeah.
Because it gets everybody involved. Everybody gets a chance to play, and everybody
Yeah.
gets a chance to win. So it's good that you're not just having like 3 or 4 up on the platform.
Right.
Everybody gets a chance. It's fair for everybody.
Yes. Okay. So, Jerry, what do you do here, by the way? What's your role at the church?
I'm the associate pastor.
Okay. Associate pastor here, youth pastor for a long time, working with you'll get old snap. Pastor Haskett, thank you for coming on today as well.
Yes, sir.
It's your first podcast?
It is.
It is?
Now, years ago when I was in college, I did radio. So
You
it's
did.
a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, you know what the joke is then. Yeah. What is it?
Oh.
No. No, I don't know what the joke is. You got the face for radio.
Yeah.
That's I mean, you have to, once you say that, how many people come back with that? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. There's we had a little AM station in the foothills of South Carolina that it might have reached a couple of hundred, people, maybe 1,000, 1,500 maybe.
Yeah.
But our joke was we got millions of people listening to our station.
In this little, right on this.
Very rural area.
Right. Well, I love that. So you've been pastoring here, Calvary, how long?
22 years.
22 years. Okay. Where did the heart for Matter, we call it Matter, Mid-Atlantic Teen Retreat. I got to be honest, I called it Mater for years. Every time I thought I'd tow Mater, all I could think of was cars.
You can call it either one.
Yeah, well, here we are in the South. I thought Mater was, tow Mater really kind of fit it well.
Yeah.
Where did the heart for this come from?
Well, we had looked and been to a number of different youth conferences in within a decent amount of driving distance. The longest one, of course, we went to Teen Extreme down in Pensacola. That was normally in a car, it's about 14, 15 hours. On bus, it's much longer than that with a group of kids. And it just became overwhelming. And just trying to find something that would fit, that was reasonable, economical, and all that was a little challenging. And so we had the idea and pitched the idea, talked about it for a couple of years, actually, and before we did.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
It is.
One of the things I love about your church is the volunteer culture you have here. Your people, it's amazing every single year what they do. They've got the sponsors room with the snacks and coffees and sweets and baked goods and food and those kind of things in there. Keep it all stocked up. There's someone in there all the time and they're taking care of you. They do an amazing job with that. Your volunteer culture here is really, really strong. Jeremy, how many people do you feel like it takes to put this thing on every year?
Between everybody with the kitchen staff, the hospitality room, security, cleanup, everything, we'll probably have around 40 to 50 people.
Okay. That are here on site.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much the entire time.
Yes, sir.
And the conference has been pushing 250, 300 times people on site. Of course, tonight there'll be a lot more Wednesday night.
Yes, sir.
This place will be packed. How have you guys? Is it wear your people out? I mean, how have you all developed that kind of a culture here? Because the people that are here, they're here. I mean, they're here all day. We've got a guy out here that I mean, every time I see him, he's got a table in his hand, a chair in his hand. He's tightening something up. He's running a bus. He's taking care of. Everyone here's like that. How'd you guys develop that?
Well, it's I mean, we kind of push to have a heart to serve, and not everything that a person does in service is compensated, from a financial standpoint. But it's more so, look at how the Lord served people. He said himself, I came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. So we've kind of taken that philosophy with that. And you can elaborate on how they spread that.
Yeah, tell us behind the scenes a little bit, because it takes a ton of work.
Oh, yes. So the very first year that we had held it at a conference center, not here. And so it was actually a ton more work on us because not everybody could come there. And then COVID hit, and then in 2021 we moved it here, and we've had it here every year since then. And even the first year here, getting volunteers and we were having to go and ask people to help fill in here, help fill in there, and it was a ton. And I'm reminded of the verse where there is no vision, the people perish. And the first year that we hosted it here, once people saw what it was, now when people come to us and they're like, hey, I want to help out. And it's like, I really don't have a set place for you. And so now there's just in the kitchen, there's 15 people in there, ladies, a couple of gentlemen in there carrying the heavy stuff. And so, but once people saw that vision, and they saw what it could be, they jumped right in with both feet. And if you ask a lot of them, they will say, this is my favorite week of the year, because they live for it.
You can see it. Yeah.
Especially the head lady over our kitchen. She keeps a notebook of everything, of what they ate, what they didn't like, what they preferred. And she,
it's her thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they've taken total ownership. When you talk about people, when they see something, they really get to be a part of it. People do what people see, right? I mean, I think that's just culture.
Yes.
And Pastor, every single year that I've been here, you take the prayer request cards super seriously, and sometimes emotional over them. I mean, you'll read those things, you'll get emotional over them. You pray for them. I mean, you let those kids know, hey, I'm praying with you. I'm praying for you. This is a very serious thing to you.
Sure.
I think when the church sees that this matters to you and to you, I think they follow that. Don't you feel like that's a massive part of it?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting a little choked up now because I'm thinking about some of the kids.
Yeah.
It'll break your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I all three of us read some earlier today, and it's just...
Yeah. That's why you want to do this.
Yeah.
That's why you do this.
When they're hurting and they are looking and searching for answers, I take it on myself, part of a responsible thing to try to help them find those answers. And we know that ultimately those answers come from the Lord. But sometimes they just need direction. They give the direction of how do I get there? How do I get to that place? How do I focus my attention on prayer? Or where do I find this in Scripture? And, when you got young people that are considering suicide, and the percentages of that, the rate of that in America now, it's grown exponentially over the last 5-10 years, especially since COVID.
Yeah.
It really breaks my heart.
Jeremy, what do you think that is? You've worked with teens for a long time, young adults now. What's the reason for the increase in suicide? It feels like everyone you talk to right now is anxious over something. Depression, it's a massive thing. We're reading these cards that for our audience sake, you'll have people not put their names on them, but they put these prayer request cards in boxes, and you've got dozens and dozens and dozens of cards, and the stories on these cards will just break your heart. And, we were working, you can see it in you right now. We were working through them a little bit earlier today, and just the categories of them, not one, several suicide, not one, several self-harm, cutting. I mean, just real challenges. And I think you're right. It's escalating in this generation. Why do you think that is, Jeremy?
Um, there's probably several reasons. I know it's already been preached. I don't remember if it was you or Brother Lee who said it yesterday, but I think a lot of it has to do with social media, on where, people put on this 30-second video or, a 15-second reel, and they have painted that their life is completely perfect.
Yeah.
And I think was it you that said something about they take like 15, 20 takes before they actually post the one that they want. And, you see
It's
that.
curated.
Yes. And you see that, and it's like, my life doesn't look anything like that. And I'm like, and the reality is neither does theirs. But most of the time.
But you don't
And
know.
so,
Yeah.
yes. And that's why they call them influencers. And so they have painted this picture perfect life, and in reality, a lot of times it doesn't. It's not panning out.
Yeah.
And so they see that, they want that, and they're like, my life doesn't look anything like that. And so from that, they feel like they don't have purpose. What's my place? And then they start looking for answers, and they're not finding the answers that they want, that they need. And so they're like, I really don't have a reason to live.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, why they think that, I don't know.
I think some of them are looking for the glory. They see the glory of the YouTuber or the influencer, the glory of, the Michael Jordans of the world. They see all of that, and they're wanting that without the work to get to that point. And when they don't succeed at it, it's a moment of depression, or creates a moment of depression for them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had interns at our church come from Bible colleges, big ministries, and I've seen that with them sometimes. I think they see the platform, but they don't see how much work went behind, whether it was the planning of the church, the building of the church, the pastoring on a regular basis in the church, all the work that everyone on that staff does. They see the preaching moment, right? They see that moment. And to your point, we don't see the behind the scenes of that curated Instagram reel or whatever. Yes. And that's why Paul says, don't compare yourselves. You're not being wise to compare yourself, because it leads you to an empty place, right? It just causes you. It's just going to take you to a place. You're always going to think they've got it more together than you do. And it does cause that despair.
And just to add, like, a lot of those influencers, they have a couple million followers and all that stuff. And then somebody else who tries to get into that, they're like, well, I got 200, 300, maybe 1,000 followers. This person has like 800,000, craving acceptance, and it doesn't come. And so they maybe feel like a failure or something along those lines. But it's a tough world.
Yeah. So we have a lot of church members that'll listen to this. What they're not youth workers, a lot of them. They're just church members, right? I mean, they're parents in the church, grandparents in the church. Some of them just church members that don't have any relationship with the teens at all, but they have a heart for the teens, and they want to help them. What would you guys say to a church member? How can a church member actively be involved in encouraging teenagers, helping teenagers, just being a part of the solution in the church?
I think the biggest thing is show them that you care. We've got some older people here, retired people, that are working this week because they love the kids, and we push for them to love the kids and love on the kids. They don't have, some of them come from very rough backgrounds, and they just need somebody to care about them and love them. They're not getting that home a lot of times. And so if a retired person can love on, we call them bus kids. If they can love on a bus kid, and show them that they really and genuinely care and want to be involved in their life, then I think that makes a difference. That's one aspect.
Time. Yeah. Jeremy, what else?
Which I'll say, when you mentioned bus kids, I'll say I'll admire them immensely, because no one's forcing them to come.
Right. Yeah.
They're getting up on their own every Sunday. And so I admire that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say to the average church member, especially when you're dealing with teenagers, they think different. Things that mattered to his generation, some of those things don't matter to me, but they matter to him, and vice versa. But even with going down another generation, another 20 years, it's the same thing. Things that they care about, I couldn't care less. But then the things that are a big deal to me, they're like, whatever. And so they think different, but maybe they just want somebody just to listen, just to listen to them. And I mean, that's kind of what the prayer cards are all about. Is like there was one specific where it's like, I'm searching for God's direction for my life, and I'm afraid to tell my parents because I think they're going to disapprove of what God is calling me to do. And it's like, maybe they just want somebody to listen to them. And that's what I would say. Care about them, and then just listen.
I think that is super important. You just reminded me of something even with our boys growing up. I think there were moments that they came to me with big things. And I think as a parent, there were a couple times that their big thing scared me. You know what I mean? They're 15, 16, 17 years old.
Yes.
And I didn't want them to have to face what that decision would bring out, right? I didn't want them to go down that road. And there was one time specifically that one of my boys came to me and shared this big thing to me. And boy, I kind of I wouldn't say I lost it, but without listening, I was super hard on him.
Okay.
Super.
Yeah.
So we went through that process. By the way, when I could just tell he was just not there. And that got me more. And so now I'm going, is this not a big deal to you? What's wrong? And now I'm upset, right? Like, come on, you look like you don't even care, what's going on right now. Years later, he said, we had a great conversation. We're very close. He said, I remember that conversation all the way back. And he said, I responded that way because it just, I lost hope in that moment. I knew I didn't want to go down that road either, but I just you just got after me.
Yes, sir.
I just needed you to listen to what I had. I just needed you to hear what I had to say.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably undervalued in a lot of people. Our teens, your teens here, very sensitive teenagers, they know what to do for the most part. Sometimes they just want to be able to talk it out loud.
Yeah.
They just want to be able to have somebody that understands what they're going through in those moments.
Yes. I will say this, like Rachel and I, we've transitioned over to young adults and working with them, and they're a little bit more open with things. And one of the things that, this was a couple months ago, we were talking about, just all sorts of things that they were struggling with. And one of them said specifically, they said, in the church I grew up in, they made me feel like if my faith wasn't perfect, then I was inadequate to serve.
Yeah.
And I mean, that broke my heart because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And I think if we would learn to show them that, let our faith be real. It's never going to be perfect, but let our faith be real and show them that. And I think that might be a hell as well.
I think we talked identity last night. Yes. Performance-based identity. And I think that is a problem, because if you got everything together, you look right on the outside, and as well as I do, these kids that sometimes have it all together on the outside have nothing together on the inside. And if you fix inside, you get the Holy Spirit of God working in you, it's gonna take place on the outside. But the performance-based stuff really doesn't work. So,
yes, sir.
yeah, that's really interesting. Any other ways that you would encourage church members to what a teens need, how they can reach them?
Sometimes you just need to ask them, what can I do for you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
How can I be be influencing your life, or just help you with something? A teenager is struggling. It's not time to shell it aside. The cards that we have is one way they have the ability to open up because we don't ask for names.
Yeah.
and they will
They can
really
actually share.
really share what's on their heart. But if they put their names on there, they're not going to share it at all.
Yeah, should. No, that's a good point. Along with that, why are teenagers so intimidating?
Are they intimidating?
Yeah. Why do you feel that way? I mean, you've worked with teens a long time. I worked with teens for a long time. Teenagers can be, most people would look at a teenager and say, that's the most intimidating group in the world to work with. Any thoughts on why that is?
I'm gonna think about that.
Do you know what I mean when I say that? You know, you're just nervous.
I guess because maybe, like as an adult, not all the time, but as an adult, we've learned to maybe use our facial expressions, even though like we're aggravated or something. We've been able to hide it. Teenagers don't hide it.
Well, that may be why it is. That's part of it.
If they think you're weird and cringy, like they will clearly show it on their face.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's one. of the
Maybe
reasons.
they haven't learned how to package with grace. Yeah, responses. Yeah, maybe that's
that was
what
a
it
much
is.
better way to.
Yeah, right. No, you said that's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah.
One of the things I feel like teenagers need, I think sometimes Christian parents shut down teenagers so fast. They don't have a safe space to talk.
Yes.
And when you're talking about a place to share, I feel like it would be so helpful. And this is scary for a parent to do something like this. But maybe it's once a month, and you have, maybe you call it doubt night at your house for your devotions. You know, when you just say, hey, what are you struggling with in your faith right now? You know, write it down. And the next day or the 2 days later, we're going to do this. We're going to talk about this thing that you're I would much rather my kids talk to me about what they're struggling with and be open and honest about it and be able to help shape them than somebody else. Some 15, 16-year-old that has no idea what's going on, or might not give them the right. So not to be afraid of their doubts. God's not intimidated by our questions. He's not intimidated by doubts. The truth is going to stand.
Yes, sir.
And I think most parents would say, well, that's scary me to death to do that. Well, get it in advance. Talk about it. Maybe one night in the devotions, you talk about, hey, what are the doubts you struggle with? Hear them. And then you're going to have another night where you're going to be able to kind of talk, get yourself prepared, look some things up, find out what you think about that, get some counsel, and then go back in there and shepherd your teenagers, not just your little kids that, the easy answers, Sunday school answers, Jesus, and everything is good and wonderful. It's easy to talk about. But these teenagers need a safe place they can have these conversations for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your praying for these teens, I think, really gives them a chance. They don't have someone on the other side to be able to maybe have a dialogue. You're dialoguing with God about them. But I think even that step gets it out of them a little bit. And I think even that step causes them to feel, hey, I was safe enough to be able to write this down and drop it somewhere. You know what? Maybe I need to take another step and talk to a parent, a youth sponsor.
Yeah.
I could take another step and do something with this as well. So,
Yeah, and that's one reason why we share that with the sponsors as well. We obviously don't have names, but we share the situations with them so that way they can be looking for some of the young people that are struggling with certain things.
Can I ask you about that? And I don't think we were going through these prayer requests. I think the average parent would probably be shocked at what the average teenager goes through. If they saw the cards that, and by the way, I will, my church listening to this, they don't know where I'm at. I'm in the South. These are good churches represented. These are good teenagers. These are churched teenagers. This isn't, we're not inner city. We don't have, this really, for the most part, we have some that don't know Christ yet, for sure. And we're going to address that tonight.
Yes.
But for the most part, these are really good teenagers. I mean, they're church teenagers. But you start reading through these cards, and they are dealing with stuff that, I mean, they're hearing things at school. They're dealing with self-worth issues and self-harm issues and doubts and all these kind of things. I think the average parent would be shocked to hear what they're facing. Do you have any advice for parents other than I know, hey, get involved.
Mhm.
Find out. Do you have any, as a youth pastor for a long time, as a pastor, do you have any advice for parents on how they can maybe enter into this relationship with their kids and
Yeah.
have these conversations?
You want me to go first? Yeah. Okay. I'll use this as an example. This was several years ago before we started Mayor, whichever you call it. We had, it was like in a 2 month span, we had like 8 teens come to us and say they were struggling with pornography. And so we were talking about it here just in the office, and we were like, you know what, maybe we need to inform some parents, like, hey, these have come to us, and we have a rule, like if they come to us, we always, the first thing we ask, like, do your parents know? Because we're dealing with minors there. And so it's like, you have a week to tell your parents, and if you don't, I'm gonna have to step in and do it. And so but in like a 2 months family, had like 18s come to us, and so we're like, if these 8 have been honest, like the other 40, 50 that we have, how many more of them are struggling with it? So we actually took a Sunday school class, and would you take the teens? Did you teach the teens that Sunday?
I think so.
Yeah, you taught the teens, and then I had the teen parents in with us.
Yeah.
And it was the most nervous Sunday school lesson I think I ever taught.
Sure it was, yeah.
Because you're getting ready to like drop this bomb on these parents, and it's like, hey, I encourage you. We've had this go on, and I mean, and I said, please do not just sit back and think my teen would never do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because there was a couple of them that, I mean, it shocked us that they were the ones who were struggling with that.
Yeah.
And so what we were able to do, though, is share that with them. And then we were able to give them some tools and say, hey, look, when it comes to specifically this, there's some internet filters. There's some different like VPNs and things that you can add, and it helps. It lets you be the accountability partner for your child. And so I would say that check up on them.
Yeah.
And ask them questions and teach them not only what, but the why. Like I'm a firm believer that we all grew up in an era where, why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of times these teens, they think different. They have, information, computers in our pockets. I mean, endless information literally at our fingertips.
Yeah.
And a lot of them want to know why. And so I'm a firm believer that that's not always the best solution. But tell them what and tell them why. Explain to them, take the Bible, take the scriptures, and say, these are some rules that we have in place. And here's the reasons why. You may not see the vantage point yet, but maybe one day you will. And teach them why we do what we do, why we believe what we believe.
Yeah.
That would be some.
I think that's really wise. I know a child can have an attitude, and they're not asking you why, they're just fighting you. and so I could see there being a moment you go, no, come on, let's go, kind of thing. But if you never give them the why, how are they going to be able to make critical thinking decisions down the road? They don't. If you give them the principles of why you're making decisions, that's going to help them as they're making their own decisions moving forward too.
Because the first moment their faith is challenged,
why?
They don't know why.
Yeah, right. I know what I was told. I know what I did in that exact circumstance, but I don't know why I did that. So it's hard to do it. I will say that I really respect you all for doing that. You just said it's a hard conversation to sit all these parents down and say, hey, here's it's kind of awkward. It can be kind of an awkward thing.
Oh, we definitely got some weird looks.
Yeah, right. I get that. But it's reality. I mean, you can put your head in the sand and say, we're just going to forget about it and ignore it. Or you can say, I'm willing to have a difficult conversation and for you to handle this issue with the teenagers, you to address the parents. Because my philosophy on youth ministry is this. You're not the main character in this story with the kids, right? They have parents. The parents, Deuteronomy chapter 6, are responsible for the teenagers. We're just there to help.
Yes.
We're assisting, right? So it's like you're running the marathon. I'm on the side holding a cup of water saying, hey, good job. Keep going. Let me help where I can. So to equip them the way that you did, I think that's very wise. to sit down and say, hey, this is what they're going through, and here's some things that can help
Yes.
with that. So I love that. Did you have something you want to say about it?
Yeah, well, I was saying, I would say this, that I've seen this before where a parent learns that their child is doing something, they get angry.
Yeah.
And that anger breeds more anger.
Yeah.
With the child. And there's a way to handle it. It can be handled. Yes, you get angry inside, but you can't show, if you show that emotion to them,
Yes.
it will cause, I think sometimes it will cause them to do even more.
Okay.
Go further.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about. I did. This is exactly, I got angry, and here's what it caused. Withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah. They shut down.
Yeah, they shut down. And looking back at it, I can still see it in his eyes that it was like, I'm looking at him going, doesn't this bother you? Well, he's not there. He's inside somewhere going, I'm just shielding myself from you right now because I'm withdrawing from you. And, are there moments that you can be emotional? Of course there are, but I was too fast to respond and just try to fix it, stop it, knock it off. That's not how we do things.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, I hear you. And by the way, I've been there too. He wasn't telling me anything that I hadn't done before. He wasn't telling me anything I hadn't struggled with before. He wasn't telling me anything that as an adult I hadn't gone through before. I just didn't want it for my son.
Yeah.
And so I hit it so hard. And in my brain at the moment, I'm thinking, he's gonna know this is serious, and we are not gonna deal with this, and he's gonna run from it. And I did the opposite. I sent him underground. Is what I did. Is really what happened with that.
Yeah. I've seen them shut down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Just talking with some and all that, addressing the issue that I know is going on, and you could see it on their face, and then it's like, I get frustrated because I may have went one step too far, but I, imagine a parent.
Yeah.
But we're trying to help reinforce what parents do if the parents are on board with the way, the what, why, and the how.
Sure. Good. And let me just say to the parents too, anyone that's listening, I want to give them grace because I'm a parent. I know what it was like. I mean, you can beat yourself up if you want to. It doesn't really do you any good. Sometimes I'll tell our parents, hey, you did the best you could with what you knew, what you had at the time. I mean, but we want to grow, right? We want to be able to help the best we know how to in these situations. Well, listen, thank you both for coming on. I feel like you all have become such great friends, and thank you for just the heart that you have for young people. We need more pastors and more guys, Jeremy, with that are serving, that have a heart for these young people, that love these young people. And when I see the two of you serving together here at Calvary, and I see the conference that you do year in and year out, it does deepen my burden for teens. And it's an incredible example for our churches to see it. So thank you all for having such a burden for it. Thank you for investing in it. And I know it's not easy. I know you can do a lot of things throughout the year that would be easier than putting this. You guys are dead dog tired by the end of this week. I know you guys are. Beginning of the week, you were dead dog tired this week already before it even started. You and your wife are sleeping in your office right now, aren't you?
Yes.
You're right. At night.
We're camping out.
You're camping out in your office right now because there's so many things going on. That's the guy. People, what time did you go to bed last night, Jeremy?
3:30.
3:30. All right. What time did you get up this morning?
7:30.
Okay. So 4 hours last night.
Think about it for a second.
Right. About 4 hours. Hey, I just want to say thank you for investing so much.
Thank you for
these
coming.
teams.
I know your church, your wife, and I know you probably much rather sleep in your bed than a hotel, but we appreciate them being and letting you if you coming and flying all this way. We really appreciate it.
I love it and appreciate both of you, and you're good friends. So
the impact you have made over the years, because we will do testimony time, Sunday or the following week or whatever, and they inevitably, several of our kids will always mention something that they got out of your message because you impacted them.
Yes.
And we appreciate that so much.
Yeah. Well, it's been an honor. It really
Yes,
has.
sir.
Thank you, guys.
Same here.
And church, thanks for listening. You may know a parent, maybe you know somebody going through some things. I'd encourage you. They just shared some great things about just the need to be involved with our teens, and they just said it. Disengaging doesn't help. Just to listen, to actively engage in their lives makes such an incredible impact and an amazing difference. So thank you for watching today, and thanks for being a part of this podcast. We will see you again next week.